Starborn. Remember, to be a star, you have to shine your own light, follow your own path, and not be afraid of the darkness, because that's when stars shine brightest. If you've been looking at our website, starborninstitute.org, you would already know that the title of tonight's show can be a little ominous, because the title is All at Once. And I think that something can be happening, perhaps even today or tomorrow, that can be somewhat shocking, or can certainly represent some sort of an upset or very sudden change that can be happening all at once, because there are 5 planets that are in the cardinal signs all squaring and opposing each other. So they're putting a lot of pressure on each other. The 4 cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, and there are planets in all of those signs, so the aspects are very harsh among them. The cardinal signs do not see shades of gray. To them, something is either right or wrong, good or bad. And so we have a lot of people with conflicting opinions right now, and that can extend to organizations as well. And so there can be something that can happen all at once right now, and that is because it starts with the Sun and Mars very tightly conjuncting each other. Mars is at 1 degree of Cancer, and the Sun is at 4 degrees of Cancer. And Cancer rules our emotions. It rules the home and the family. It certainly rules America and Canada. And so it can be that people's emotions can really be getting stirred up right now. There could be a lot of expressions of anger or frustration. And then it gets worse. And that is because that Sun and Mars in Cancer are being sorely squared by the planet of sudden change, Uranus in Aries. Uranus is a malefic planet, and so is Mars. And Uranus rules flight. It rules aviation, computers, it certainly rules cyberspace, and it rules the whole space industry. It rules artificial intelligence, and it rules all electronics as well. And it rules rebellion and freedom as well. And so with Uranus squaring that Mars, which is backed by the light of the Sun and the power of the Sun, this is an absolutely terrible time to fly. You really shouldn't fly right now, because the possibility of some malicious disaster going on is quite high, certainly with these 2 malefic planets and the Sun squaring each other. But there's more to it than that. And that is because that same Sun and Mars in Cancer, which are being squared by Uranus in Aries, which is in a fire sign, and it rules new beginnings. That's why there could be some shocking surprise and new beginning right now. But anyway, that Sun and Mars are being squared by the Moon in Libra. The Moon rules Cancer, so it is squaring the sign it rules. That's not too good. And it also is an indication, since the Moon is one light and the Sun is the other, and they are in square to each other along with Mars, that there might need to be some sort of review of a legal matter right now, since Libra does rule the law. Or people can be assuming that things were peaceful, and suddenly something can erupt and it wouldn't be peaceful at all. So there can be some sort of careful review of a legal matter, and it could probably upset a few people when it's announced, because that Moon is square the Sun and Mars as well. But there's more to it than that, because the Moon is also opposing Uranus in Aries. The Moon is at 15 degrees of Libra today. It is precisely square Pluto in Capricorn, the 4th cardinal sign, which is also at 15 degrees. So that square is as harsh as it can be, because it's exact. And that simply means, since Pluto is retrograde and denotes people in management in large corporations or government agencies, that there can be a reversal of some sort of policy, or there can be a change in management. It might be a swift change, because that Pluto is opposing Mars and the Sun in Cancer, and it is also being squared by Uranus in Aries. So those are the 5 planets in the 4 cardinal signs that are so harshly aspecting each other and putting a lot of pressure on themselves and on us as well. So expect the unexpected, And believe me, you might have a chance for a brilliant new beginning because Uranus in Aries is being trined beautifully by Venus and Jupiter in Leo. So somebody who could be looking forward to a bright new beginning and having every idea that it could succeed might be a little disappointed. And it isn't that their viewpoint is wrong, it's that Venus and Mars in Leo are being harshly squared by Saturn in Scorpio. There's a lot of planets being squared right now, 8 of them in fact. And so because of, in fact all 10 of them are, and because Venus and Jupiter in Leo are being squared harshly by Saturn in Scorpio, and Scorpio is a fixed financial sign, it is an indication that there can be some sort of heavy financial burden that people can have to face. In other words, if you have high bills or debt, or there's some sort of tax matter that has been lingering in the background of your life, you will really have to face it right now, because that's what that Saturn in Scorpio represents. And so that can put a little damper on your fun, which is what Venus and Jupiter in Leo represent. And that is why they're not as strong as they look, because they're being squared by Saturn. And that is why even a new beginning can prove to be a little bit disappointing, even though a lot of people have high hopes. So what I think may occur all at once right now is some sort of perfect financial storm. And that is because so many planets are being harshly aspected. Mercury is still in Gemini and it rules the sign, and it is direct, so there can be a lot of communication flowing around, but it is being squared by Neptune in Pisces, which is very strong because it's the ruler of the sign, and that means that there is still deception around, that people can be saying one thing and doing another, or else not quite telling the whole truth about something. And so all of the planets are going through a bit of a rough time right now. It doesn't mean that there aren't some good aspects, but there are not enough good aspects to circumvent the fact that there can be a shocking upset right now, and that this is an extreme time of danger. And that is why you need to be very, very careful. But the danger can be to your finances as well as to your physical self, or there can be danger to our country or to our loved ones as well. So we really have to be careful this week. All right, what does this idea of all at once mean to all 12 of the sun signs? Well, Aries, I think that you really will be affected right now by this harsh clash of 5 planets in cardinal signs, which are all squaring and opposing each other. It's like no matter which way you turn, Aries, something could be blocking you this week. And there is the possibility that if there is some sort of legal matter that you're involved with that gets reviewed and therefore revised, it could create some sort of sudden shocking surprise in your life. And that is why, you know, you should be prepared for change right now, Aries, because I think it's going to happen. You could be looking forward to a brilliant new beginning because Venus and Jupiter in Leo are trining Uranus in your sign. But that Uranus is a real wild card right now because it is being so harshly squared by Mars and the Sun in Cancer. It's being opposed by the Moon in Libra, which means a very nice person could be parting ways with you, Aries. Or you could lose a legal matter right now. And also, Pluto in Capricorn is squaring that Uranus in your sign, which means there can be a change of management, but it would not be in your favor. Or there can be a change of policy, and you would have to react to that, and you may be a little shocked by that as well. So I think you're going to feel it right now, Aries, as there is some sort of change coming up in your life. I urge you not to fly. And if the worst thing that happens to you is that your computer crashes, count yourself as really lucky, because there could be something much more upsetting and shocking headed your way. And that is why you do need to be very, very careful right now, and quiet too, if you can be. All right, what does it mean to a Taurus? Well, Taurus, this is simply a time when you need to really be careful with your money. And the reason why is you could have gone overboard a little bit, and that is because Venus, your own ruler, and Jupiter in Leo are squaring your sun, and that means you could have spent a little bit too much money on loved ones lately, or certainly on something that you love, so you could have been a little overindulgent or extravagant. And Saturn in Scorpio is now opposing your sun sign. So there can be some sort of betrayal in a deal that is pending, and it could leave you holding the bag. And that is why you need to be very careful with your money and your safety, because in the background of your life is that Uranus in Aries. It's right behind your sun sign, which means in the background of your life there is some surprising or shocking upset going on, something that is, you're really going to have to handle, or you could be very surprised about. And that is why I urge you to go slowly right now, Taurus, because if you overreact, you might lose some money. And that's why you need to be really, really careful right now, and try not to be too disappointed if you don't get something that you want. And that is because maybe it's too costly, or maybe there's just a little bit too many problems connected with something. And don't worry, Taurus, there will be something else coming along. But for right now, you just need to be very careful and keep your hands in your pocket. This is not a good time for you to be spending money, because there could be hidden costs connected to anything you're spending your money on. Okay, what does it mean to a Gemini? Well, Gemini, this is a time of relief for you, and you could use it, couldn't you, Gemini? And the reason why is that only Mercury is in your sign now. There were a lot of other planets, particularly Mars, in your sign, but it has moved into Cancer, and now just Mercury is there, and it is direct, and it is being fortified or trined by that moon in Libra. Well, that moon in Libra is under duress right now. Remember, it's in a cardinal sign, and they're taking a beating right now, but it is supporting your sun sign, Gemini. So I think you can get some very nice help, or you can be making some sort of easy transition, and you may be benefiting by some sort of legal revision that goes on, maybe not about you, but connected to you in one way or another, and that could certainly help you go on your way. This would be an excellent time for you to make a change or a transition. And you would actually have all the right words right now, and nothing's stopping you. And that is because of a planet that has moved on as well, and that is Saturn. It had been opposing your sun sign all year long. In fact, since Christmas Eve last year, when Saturn went into Sagittarius and began to oppose your sun. But now it has moved on and gone back into Scorpio for the rest of the summer, and so there's not as much opposition as you've been facing before, and that's why you could go forward right now with a little help from a nice friend. Good luck. Okay, what does it mean to a Cancer? Well, Cancer, this is simply a time when I think that you can be all sort of riled up about something, and that is because the Sun and Mars are exactly conjunct in your sun sign, and that can really stir up your emotions. And you can sort of go overboard right now in your reactions. You could be sort of mad at something, or you could be the victim of an attack right now. And that could be quite upsetting and jarring to you. You shouldn't fly no matter what, Cancer, because Uranus in Aries is squaring the Sun and Mars in your sign. Mars and Pluto are exactly opposing each other. They are the rulers of Scorpio, so they're not in good aspect to each other. Some people will be facing a financial storm because of that, because Pluto is in Capricorn opposing the Sun and Mars in your sign, and the Moon in Libra is squaring it. So I think you too could have to react to some sort of jarring surprise or upset right now that could happen all at once. And in fact, it's just like everybody could have been thinking about it for a long time, and then suddenly it does happen. And it could represent an element of danger or financial alarm as well. all of the signs will be affected, but particularly the cardinal signs right now, which is what yours is. However, yours is also a water sign, and the water signs are actually enjoying a grand trine right now, meaning that Saturn in Scorpio is trining your sun, and so is Neptune in Pisces. So there are actually 4 planets in water signs in good aspect to each other. And that simply means that if there is some jarring upset or something that really takes you by surprise, Cancer, that you were not expecting, I still think there can be some additional financial help at the same time that can be coming your way, and that could still allow you to make a dream come true. But I do think that you are going to be thrown off balance right now by a real surprise or upset that is near you, very near you. If it doesn't happen to you, it's happening to somebody you know, and that could impact you as well, Cancer. But I think you can make it through that as well. You're not going to be as hurt as others are. Okay, what does it mean to a Leo? Well, Leo, this is simply a time when you can be full of love and benevolence toward everyone, and that is because Venus has moved even closer to Jupiter now, and it is conjuncting Jupiter. Venus is at 17 degrees, and Jupiter is at 21 degrees, so they're within a 4-degree orb of each other. And so a conjunction makes each planet even stronger. So, you know, I think you have the best intentions right now, Leo. And you could have your mind on a serious commitment such as marriage or children, or even just wanting to sort of gamble or spend money on the people that you love, or on having a lot of fun, because you're very popular right now, Leo. However, I'd really slow down with that, because even if Uranus in Aries is trining your sun, it simply means that a new beginning could look quite promising, but it isn't as good as it would be. And so you shouldn't jump in too quickly to anything right now. You should investigate it a little bit more, because that Uranus is very harshly aspected right now, even if it is trining your sun sign. And the problem is financial. It means that because Saturn in Scorpio is squaring that Venus and Jupiter in your sun sign, there can be a betrayal of one sort or another, and that could throw you off. Remember, this is a time when there could be a financial perfect storm that could be upsetting to a lot of people. It doesn't necessarily mean that it would happen to you, but I do think you can be plagued by old debts or old bills, or old or interest rates that look as if they're suddenly going to go up for one reason or another, or just rising costs that can affect you. It might be because you're spending a little bit too much money though, Leo, so you really need to keep a lid on that right now. Okay, what does it mean to a Virgo? Well, Virgo, this is a time that I think that you are extremely protected. And so if there is going to be some sudden jarring upset, it may not happen to you, but it may happen very close to you, Virgo. And the wonderful thing about it is that your sign is completely surrounded by very good planets. And that is because Mercury is in Gemini, the Sun and Mars are in Cancer, Venus and Jupiter are in Leo, right behind your sun sign. The moon in Libra is right ahead of your sun sign, and Saturn in Scorpio is sextiling it, and Pluto in Capricorn is trining it. That simply means that if there is some sort of communication that is a little jarring right now, since Mercury in Gemini is squaring your sun, I would take it with a real grain of salt, Virgo. It may not really affect you personally at all. It could be about somebody else or a different situation. And so that is because you've got so many planets surrounding your sun sign that you are cushioned on all sides from something. It doesn't mean that you wouldn't be somewhat disturbed about bad news that somebody gets, but I don't think it's going to move you at all in any way, Virgo. And you are going to be one of the lucky ones that really makes it through this time somewhat unscathed. Lucky you. Just be quiet about your good fortune, though, because a lot of other people are going to be affected, Virgo. Okay, what does it mean to a Libra? Well, Libra, it's wonderful that the moon is in your sign, because the moon is passive and peaceful, and your sign rules love and marriage and legal contracts. And so you could be feeling quite benevolent towards people that are your partners or who could be potential partners of yours. But you can't control them is the problem, even though there can be good news headed your way because Mercury in Gemini is trining your sun, which is wonderful. That good news would be about something that has to do with your future, Libra. So that would be good. It's sort of something that's out in front of you that you really should pay attention to. However, you know, the rest of the planets are really under duress right now, including that moon in your sign, which is being squared by Pluto in Capricorn and by the Sun and Mars in Cancer. So I don't think that your home life or a real estate matter or your family members are all that happy right now, and you are going to have to try to be the peacemaker, and it may not work either. Even if you are going to be a peacemaker, I don't think people are ready to make compromises, which is what you're actually good at. And then Uranus in Aries is opposing the moon in your sign, which can indicate a sudden jarring surprise or upset or a dangerous attack. And that is why you have to be very, very careful right now. And so I'm glad there can be good news about your future. But at a current time like right now, when something can happen all at once, you've got to be real careful to sort of calm down and keep your balance. And you'd better realize you can't please everybody right now, Libra. So try to make yourself happy instead if you can. All right, what does it mean to a Scorpio? Well, Scorpio, this is certainly a time when I think there can be trouble afoot, but I don't necessarily think it's coming to you, other than the fact that something that you thought was going to turn out really well, that may have something to do with a love affair or children's interests or sports or gambling or entertainment, may not work out well, even though the picture could look really rosy right now. And it could be because expenses are going up or costs are going up, and you may be in a rather frugal frame of mind right now, Scorpio, because Saturn has returned to your sun sign, and it is squaring Venus and Jupiter in Leo, and these are fixed signs. They do not budge. And so you may be deciding to turn your back on somebody. Maybe you're tired of paying the high cost of something and you want to stop that because it isn't, you know, it's just making somebody else spoiled. Or it can be that you have been in the role of being overly indulgent, and maybe that has to stop because your sign is actually being trined by your own ruler, Mars and the Sun in Cancer, and by Neptune in Pisces. And Pluto, your other ruler in Capricorn, is sextiling your sign. This is a time for you to get really firm about finances, Scorpio, because you're in a good position not to get hurt by any financial surprises, particularly if you keep your hands in your pocket. So you are going to make it through a time when other people will really be thrown off by sudden upsets or surprises that happen all at once. I don't think it will rock your foundation at all, because I don't think that you're out there taking any chances or gambles at this present time. So that will protect you. Okay, what does it mean to a Sagittarius? Well, Sagittarius, an awful lot of things could be going on very, very quickly right now. You might benefit from them in some way. And the way that I think you'll benefit is that if there is some sudden surprise or an upset or even an attack, people will come to your aid. And in fact, they'll come to your aid so quickly because Uranus in Aries is trining your sun, and so are Venus and Jupiter in Leo, that you will be able to sort of gather your strength and go on anyway. So some sort of jarring upset right now could be a blessing in disguise for you, Sagittarius, because it might hasten the solution to a problem that you've been having. And that is why I don't think you need to fear anything right now, unless you're flying. Don't fly, no matter what, because some of the problem could come through the air. And that is why you need to really slow down and try to protect yourself financially if you can right now, Sagittarius. But if you need help, your friends are going to help you out, or you can respond to them very quickly as well. Okay, what does it mean to a Capricorn? Well, Capricorn, yours is a cardinal sign, and Pluto is in it, and it is being opposed by the Sun and Mars in Cancer, squared by the Moon in Libra, and also by Uranus in Aries, and yet it is retrograde. and it is sextiling Saturn in Scorpio. And so in your role, Cancer or Capricorn right now, you can be deciding how to react to a change in management or a revision of some very important policy, and you can be zeroing in on how you feel about these things, and you may not want to respond to the over-emotionalism of other people, or if there is some sort of legal revision going on after careful examination, you are probably going to sit down and even look that all over as well. So this is a time when your natural caution will do you some good, Capricorn, and I would not make any changes right now. Just try to investigate what is going on. However, I think you're really going to feel the fact that Uranus in Aries is squaring your Sun. There is going to be some surprising upset around. It may or may not happen to you, but if it doesn't happen to you, it's sure going to happen around you, Capricorn, and that's why I urge you to remain calm, which is what you're good at. What does it mean to an Aquarian? Well, Aquarius, this is simply a time when there can be good news about your future or the possibility of a transition that is very easy for you to make because Mercury in Gemini is trining your Sun, and so is the Moon in Libra. So you could sort of get help from a partner who's quite sympathetic and understanding to you. And you're going to need that help, Aquarius, and that is because Venus and Jupiter in Leo are opposing your sun sign, which means something good is going to be leaving you. And remember, I mentioned that there is a possibility right now that all at once a perfect financial storm hits. And I think it's going to hit you, Aquarius, and that is because Saturn in Scorpio is also squaring your Sun. So it's going to hit your budget, Aquarius, and that means you're going to have to sort of pull in your belt and learn to live on less. But at the same time, you can be making some sort of easy transition that can make you feel better as well. So maybe the simple life is what you really need, Aquarius, and I think it's headed your way. Okay, what does it mean to a Pisces? Well, Pisces, this is a time when you can see probably right in front of you some sort of jarring upset or surprise, and it could be very unpleasant, and that is because Uranus is in Aries right ahead of your sun sign, and it is being very harshly squared by Mars and the Sun in Cancer. And yet that same Mars and Sun in Cancer are trining your Sun, Pisces, and Saturn in Scorpio is also trining your Sun. So if there is an unpleasant event or some sort of upset, there is the possibility that there can be some financial help coming to you or some financial benefit because of some malady. And maybe the unfortunate thing isn't happening to you, Pisces, but it could be happening around you or even to a loved one. But your family could pull together, a real estate deal could work out well for you now, and there could be some extra money coming in this summer to help you make a dream come true. It's just that you need to really mind your own business right now, Pisces, and not get into the turmoil or the upsets or the attacks that can be happening all at once. And if there is a perfect financial storm, you may somehow be a survivor of that and be somewhat unscathed, or be able to escape that, which I hope you are able to do. All right, thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you can see the show anytime you want by subscribing to it on our website, starborninstitute.org. Bye.